New amp day. Now, all of the buying and selling of amps that I've been doing has been leading to this moment, because this is one of the amps that James and myself have been wanting to get for some time. Now, this amp came up from a shop in the UK and they were selling it new, and it was cheaper than I could buy it second hand, so it was a bit of a no-brainer. So let's have a look, see what it is. Well, you can see what it is anyway, can't you? So this is a Soldano SLO 100. Now, I grew up in the 80s. I'm not saying I'm a child of the 80s because I was born before the 80s, but this was, in the 80s, the dream amp. So let's get it plugged in and hear how it sounds. Now, this is a new version of the SLO 100. Soldano came out with the original SLO 100, I think it was 1987. And this is a new version with a couple of upgrades, I guess you could say, but they're still calling it the SLO 100. They're not calling it the Mark II. So it's basically still the same amp. And the main differences between this one and the old one is this one has a better effects loop, and it also has amp switching on the front of it, but you still get all of that classic Soldano tone. Now, this is an amplifier that I've lusted after ever since I started playing guitar back in the early 90s, I guess, and never thought I would be able to get one. But this amp was used by all of my favourite guitar players, Eric Clapton, Gary Moore, Mark Knopfler, to name a few, and it became a bit of a LA session scene 80s rock amp as well, because this amp does everything from pristine cleans up to roaring high gain tones, and it does both really, really well. So let's start with the clean channel. Both channels share the same EQ, but you get two different input gains, one for the clean channel, or the normal channel as they call it, and one for the lead channel. So if you're using the clean setting on the normal channel, you really need to crank up the input gain. But to me, this amp really comes into its own when you use the crunch setting on the normal channel. And you can do everything from really nice cleans up to quite driven tones. And now the same tone with the Strat. But then as you turn up the input gain, it becomes this really awesome mid-gain rhythm channel. Now, if it was me, I would probably just go out with this amp, just using this channel and have a pedal board to get all the different tones I need out of it. I think this side of the channel sounds absolutely fantastic. And as you switch over to that crunch setting, the amp opens up. So to me, what's happening is, or the way it sounds to me, is when you have it on the clean setting, it's sort of choking the amp a little bit. You're not getting the full sort of range out of the amplifier. And as soon as you switch on that crunch control, the amp just opens up. Now, we do have a bright setting on this channel. To me, it always stays on, doesn't matter what guitar that I'm using, unless I'm using something like an Esquire, which is really sort of harsh and bright in the top end. But it really opens up the amp as soon as you switch it on. So off. Now, if you're buying a Soldano, you're probably more interested in the overdrive tones, and they are absolutely awesome. At the moment, we're doing lots of capture packs for Tonex and Quad Cortex, and you can download the captures of this from our website and from IK Multimedia's ToneNet. And before this amp arrived, the other amps that we've been going through are a Mezza and a Bogner. Now, the Bogner and the Mezza were absolute gain machines. This is more like a modded Marshall, and that's exactly how I like it. You get loads of dynamics, and it's not quite as gainy as you would have thought. But it has that really nice snap to it. So that's with the gain at 12 o'clock. And it works really well as that sort of low gain amp as well. Now that's at the gain at 8, and it still sounds awesome. So you can get this wide variety of gain from sort of real sort of nice bluesy tones up to quite sort of high gain. But for me, about 12 o'clock is perfect. Now, one of the other features that the modern version of the SLO 100 features that you don't get on the old version, or you didn't get as standard, it was always an upgrade, is this depth control. The normal SLO 100 sounds like this. Now, as soon as you bring up the depth control, the bottom end just comes back and it gives this really nice sort of fat tone. So there you go, it is an absolutely awesome sounding amplifier. Now, they do a 30 watt version, so if you don't need the 100 watts, and let's be honest, who needs 100 watts anymore? You can buy the 30 watt version, which is I guess a little bit quieter. Now, I don't think a 100 watt amp is 3 times as loud as a 30 watt amp. It doesn't really work like that. But for me, the one I really wanted to go for was a 100 watt version because you get so much more headroom. Anyway, as I said earlier, if you want to download these captures, they are available on our website. I'll leave all the notes in the description below, and they're also available on IK Multimedia's Tonix. I really hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click on the bell button and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.